So, what we're going to start with today is we're going to talk about the Nile River and its importance to Egypt. So, this is just a random image that I pulled offline with the Nile River. I know it's a little blurry, it's distorted where the sun's there, and I blew it up to make it fit on the screen. Of course, this is probably, well, it's not probably, this is AI generated, correct? Because we didn't have cameras in 400 BC, or I'm just throwing a date out, but you see a sailboat and you see a pyramid, and this is representing the Nile River. So what I want y'all to do is, there's no wrong answer here. What do you take from this picture? Give me, and I'll give you some house points, but what do you observe from this picture? All right, Caleb. All right, people use it for transportation. Good. Madison. Okay, they have a pyramid. Alex. Oh, he's under pressure. Okay, look. Anything. What do you see from the picture? Anything. Okay. All right, Colton. The Nile's very large. Another good observation. Good. Pedro. Okay, pyramids go next to water. Good point. All right. Okay. Okay, there's trees. Another good point. Cameron. Okay. So I'm gonna bring y'all in specifically to the river. What do you pick up with the river, Tanner?
A form of transportation.
Okay, so transportation, we mentioned that as a form of transportation. Colby?
That boat might have like goods and stuff on it.
Okay, the boat might have goods, merchants. Jaden?
Egyptians might be going to a different part of the Egyptian area.
Okay, so traveling for trade, maybe going to another civilization or another part of Egypt. So specifically the water, I'm going to take the last two. Alex, what?
The water is
Okay, water's essential. Madison?
If you look in the back, you can see it like curving.
Okay, it's curved. So what I was wanting y'all to pick up on, where's the water level at?
Below the ground.
So, okay, below the ground, but would you say this is flooded or like regular level? Okay, and that's what I was wanting. So it's not flooded because it would be out of the banks, right? You can see where it's contained, and if it was low, how would that? What would be an indicator for that, Jaden?
the water be lower and to enhance the trees probably be dead.
Okay, so the water level would be lower, trees may be dead. What you gonna say, Tanner?
It leaves like watermarks and like where the grass like wipes off the grass because of the current, like on from the side. It like shows it leaves watermarks where it left off.
Okay. All right, so good thought. So right now we see that the river is even with the banks. Hold on, we're gonna do something else. This is what I would say is a normal level. It's kind of at its perfect point right here. So this next picture, this is just I Google searched this. I don't even know what it is, what river, but I Google searched a river that's drying up. So you see the difference. So water level, you can see where it's been drying for a while, but you can see where it looks like the level was at one time. You can see there's still a little bit of water, but you can see how big it was, right? You can see where there's silt here. It's still moisture in the ground, but that river is drying up. Yes. Okay, so so what probably happened here is it probably rained and it washed in that, but this river was major at one time. So this is what I want y'all to do. What problems would a civilization face if its main water supply disappeared? So with your table partner, what I want you to do is discuss this to yourselves. You can talk. Just don't get out of hand. I want you to discuss what problems would happen if that Nile River or any river went from that first picture to this picture? What would happen to a civilization? So go to your next notebook page, and I want you to jot down a couple of these things. I have like 3 to 5 sentences. So y'all can discuss with one another. So turn to your partner, discuss, and then write me some thoughts down, and I'm gonna get you to share. So I'm gonna give you about 5 minutes to do this, to discuss and write them down. Yes. Go get your one. So just discuss and write me down some ideas. What you think would happen. So, what problems would a civilization face? And guys, while y'all are talking and writing, keep your brainstorming. We've looked at Mesopotamia. We've seen how the Tigris and Euphrates were important to them. We've already discussed. We've been introduced to the Nile in Egypt. We see how important the river is with them. So you don't have to play it on these two. The question is, what problems would a civilization, any civilization, face? You got responses? Let me give me just a couple more minutes for everybody, and I'm gonna take answers. So yes. Okay, hold on. But I don't want you to tell them. Let everybody think for a minute, and then I'm gonna get y'all to share. So you got good ideas though. So. Alright, so who wants to share? Alright, and I'll take your responses. You don't have to tell me everything. If somebody says it, we can go to another one. So Rosa with something. Okay, wouldn't be able to trade. Madison?
Wouldn't have water for crops.
Wouldn't have water for crops. Alex? Alright, so he said people would die within 3 to 4 days without water. Alright, Caleb? Okay, couldn't control the hygiene, nowhere to bathe. Colton? Okay, travel. Pedro? Okay, so they would lose food sources like fish. Sammy?
They would be in a drought.
Okay, be in a drought, okay. Austin?
There would be no water sources, and there will have nothing to eat. So we need somebody to die,
Okay, Nevaeh? Come on again. Okay, plant life decreasing, okay? Okay, no fish. Alright, Jaden.
If the water level was like that, the colony that died because they're eating that food.
Okay. Colby?
Well, there wouldn't be any more silt.
Okay, the silt. They would lose the silt that they need for the crops, Tanner.
The population would decrease.
Population would decrease. Cameron? A famine, okay, Reed?
People would move to different places.
Alright, people would move to different places. So what is that, what we learned early? Does anybody remember what the term was for that? It was in our opening. I know we're not talking about that, but going back to the opening. Austin, you know?
No, I think that.
Okay, what do you want to add?
The population will grow. The population will become worse and worse.
Okay, so, Caleb, you know? A push factor, exactly right. So, yes. Okay, all right, so, all of them are great things, so well, not great things, but it would be devastating for civilization, right? Your responses were great. So, if the water level or river dried up, everything that you said would happen. People would probably eventually move, so, I'm going to show you a Google slide with some slides. We got something else we're going to do after that, but before we do it, let's go ahead and we're going to do this Kahoot. So it's going to be a review. So get your computers. And here's the code. Y'all like that?
No. Yeah.
No.
It's not funny, Billy.
Y'all don't like it? I think your camera would like it. Camera loves it. Alright, I got 15. Alright, everybody in.
My thing's being said, it's not letting me.
Alright, get in.
I got 10 minutes.
Is camera on? I think it's a kangaroo. That's what I would almost say. Alright, is everybody in? Alright, so here we go, you ready?
No.
Why are we not ready?
What's the weather get? I'm ready to get something scared.
Can we get bragging rights again?
It's because I have the bragging rights.
But look, alright.
And then the film.
Yes, Alex.
I'm the best recorder.
So look, I need y'all to keep it down. Ultimate bragging rights.
Again? Bro, I'm gonna lose it. You're gonna lose.
Ultimate bragging rights.
I'm going what's your
Hey, look, alright. So here we go. Listen, alright, guys.
What is this?
I know, oh, Alex, I didn't even hit you, I'm sorry. Alright. Ultimate bragging rights. I know I shouldn't do this because y'all are too competitive, but what is the name of the river that helped the ancient Egyptians become successful? If you want to get up there where you can see, you can. Alright, 100%, good. What happened when the Nile River flooded? I hear smack talk. What happened when the Nile River flooded? Alright. Who united Upper and Lower Egypt? Does that guy look familiar? Cameron wants these tickets. Cameron wants these tickets. Alright. What was the name of the tool the Egyptians created to spread water to dry fields? I showed y'all a video on this.
We did?
Yeah, it was in the warm-up. Well, some of these you should,
Oh my.
that was a warm-up question. Hey, it's okay. You can get back. You can get back in it. Answer fast. The Egyptians were isolated because what isolated them? Alex, you crashing out? Okay. I was just asking. I was picking with you. Alright, good. Surrounded by desert.
What is this, dog? Are you serious? You got it wrong? Hey, you got it wrong.
The southern part of the Nile River was rough water because of what? What did we talk about in the water? That makes it rough. That makes it rough. But something else is in the water.
I think I hit the wrong one. Yes. I got that wrong, Mr. Atkins. I got that right.
You put seal on Tanner.
You put seal? I accidentally
Alright.
put the wrong thing.
Sure.
How did the Egyptians usually transport their trade goods? How? What are we even talking
Oh
about?
my god, I hit the wrong one.
I'm not getting it wrong.
I put red. Mr. Atkins. Okay, I got right, so never mind. No, apparently I didn't get it by myself. I wasn't trying. I'm not trying.
You're not trying, sure.
No, no.
Alright, guys, hey, listen.
We doing it for the ice cream.
Hey. Fertile soil is best described as soil that what? %, good. Juliana's pulling away. What technology did the Egyptians use to expand their farmland? How did they make the water closer to the farmland?
I picked.
Is it?
I hit the wrong one.
Hey, did you get it right?
Who put gold mining? We haven't talked about gold mining. Alright. Alright. What was the black land? What the black soil? Remember, one was red, one's black. What was it called?
I don't know.
Or what is it? Where's it at?
Hey, did you get it right?
Hey, did you get it wrong? You put yellow.
Uh-oh, Juliana, what happened? Get back in it. Get back in it, Juliana. Egyptians depended on the Nile flooding because of why? Or why did they? Alright. That's like 99.7%.
This is rigged. I'm not moving up at all.
It's rigged.
Yeah, I'm not moving
Alright, quit clapping up there. Alright, why did Egyptians, or what did Egyptians use to make their boats move faster. Remember, this is early, ancient civilization. Please don't put hippopotamus and crocodiles.
I think I did.
I'll give you a hint on that one. It's not hippopotamus and crocodile. Somebody put it. Did you Alright. They did not have solar energy then. Alright, calm it down up there. What did the Egyptians trade their goods for? So look at your answer. This is generic, but guys, listen, bring it down. Bring it down. What physical feature protected the ancient Egyptians on their western border? Their western. Remember your Mac key geography, we've already talked about that. Hey, pull your hood off for me now. This phone. Alright, we're almost at the end. Which crops were commonly grown in ancient Egypt because of the Nile? I even showed y'all an example.
It's wheat.
Alright, 100% good. What is agriculture? Guys, calm it down up there. Kobe. Stop. What does the term settlement pattern mean? We talked about this.
I hit the wrong one. Wait, what is it?
Alright, one more after this. Why could too much flooding be dangerous for the Egyptians? Kobe. Alright, hey, listen, find it down. For ultimate bragging rights. Tanner may fumble here. Egyptians depended on the Nile flooding because it was.
So easy. Got it right.
Okay, what's the one? Tanner won.
You picked blue.
Yeah, at least I got second.
Alright, listen, I need y'all back in your seats. Hey, listen, get in your seats now. Where's yours? Where are they at? Oh, that's whoever won. I got it. Alright, y'all get to your seats for me. So, I think these were the ultimate bragging rights. So, I give. Yes. Alright, go write your name on the board real quick. Alright, Caleb. This is all what we're doing. today.
I got 50
Alright,
sweets.
listen, hey, I need y'all in your seats, settle down. Well, yeah, as a test review, this isn't a test review, right? So, this was just a review on what we learned. The next big test review we do, I will do it with a booklet, I promise. Alright, so, guys, listen. Hey, I need y'all to bring it down. So, our next thing, I'm gonna go over a few slides with y'all. So, we talked about how, let me put this on the slideshow where it's big. So, we're gonna look at the seasons of Egypt. So I told y'all how we go by 4 seasons. We use, what are our 4 seasons? Jay uses summer. Give me all of them.
Autumn, winter, spring.
Okay, guys. Oh, yeah.
I got it. So it's winter. No wait. It's summer. Back to winter.
Oh, yeah. Because I made a joke of, right, because our North Carolina is crazy. So it was cool today. It's supposed to be warm tomorrow. It'll probably snow next week. You never know in North Carolina. What? It was a joke. Our weather in North Carolina is crazy. But we followed 4 seasons. Egypt only followed 3. They had flooding, planting, and harvest. So this right here, really quick, I'm gonna go through this one fast. We've talked about the Nile River, but the Nile River created basically a farming paradise for Egypt. You see, this is, all right, let me go back. What type of map is this? Physical or political? Hold on. I think Reed actually had it first. Reed, what is it? It's physical. There's no cities or blocks where it shows countries, or this is all physical, shows landforms. So all of this that's in this brown color, what is that to you? What does that represent, Caleb? Desert. This is a desert region. So when you look at it, this is Saudi Arabia to my right. This is Egypt. So all of this green right here, is that green, or what does that green represent? What is that that's running through there? The Nile River. So we usually think water blue, right? So why is it green? What is it representing here? Jay, what is it representing? Or what is it showing? All right, silt. But what would be green? Because this is an aerial shot. What would show up?
The farmland.
All right, Colby. What's green? It's not a trick question. Grass, trees, plants.
Why is there snow in like the top right of it?
I don't know. I think it's actually cloud cover is what it is. So all right, so y'all stay with me.
I didn't know that.
So look, this is green because this is where all that fertile soil is. This right here, this fan-shaped thing that I talked about, what is this? It's got a name. What is it, Madison? A delta. So the Nile River flows which direction? South to what? North. Good job. So it starts in the south. This is higher elevation, so it travels and empties out in this delta into the Mediterranean Sea. So this is important because all of that where that's green is that fertile soil. These floods brings all of this silt down that makes this really good soil. This is a low spot. Water will, when it floods, it pulls up, lakes up here. So if this dried up, like in that second picture I showed you at the beginning, this would eventually turn all brown because you would lose this fertile soil and this water. It would eventually bring destruction to Egypt. So the next thing we're going to talk about is the seasons. So I'm going to give y'all, look, I want for time, because we're running out of time, I can't do this for everyone. The flooding season. The word there at the beginning is the Egyptian word. Is anybody, I'll take 2 people that want to try it. What do you think the pronunciation is, Carlton? A cat, alright, I'm gonna go on this side, Madison. Okay, y'all are really close. A cat is how I Google search it, because y'all know that I butcher these, so a cat's really close. The second one, the planting season. Juliana, how do you pronounce that? Correct. Alright, one more. Sammy Howe. Correct. So y'all are pretty much the same. That's what it said in the Google search too, the pronunciation. Because like I said, I don't get these right 100% of the times. I don't speak these either. So the last one, the harvesting season. This one I think may get y'all. I gotta see what McKinley says. I gotta see. I'm not. I just no, because I'm just. All right. Shimu. All right, like the orca.
The what?
Y'all know Shamu.
No, all I know is Shimmer and Shaw.
All right, one more. Rose, I'll go with you. Shimu is exactly right. I would have never got that right. I Google searched it. So Shimu is how it said the Egyptians would say it. All right, so we have yes.
Is your clock behind?
No, look, it's actually faster than my watch. Don't worry about it. It's 2:29. All right, don't worry about the time right now. So look, the flooding season is what triggers it. What?
It feels like we've been in here way longer.
Okay. The flooding season is what starts it. They have the rains, the rivers get up. Then it brings the silt in. The next thing, after the rain stops and it dries out, that's when the farmers start planting. Then, after that, they're harvested after a certain amount of time. So I'm going to show y'all. We're not going to need to know every bit of this, but this will put it in perspective for us. So from June to September, the Nile is over flooded. So that's the rainy season. So our summer, basically, June to September is when it's flooded. Then the Inuit happens, or the Indonesian. That's the flood time. So our summer is when it happens. The next one is. This is just we actually covered this in science. This shows just the different soil. This is the soil horizon. So that top layer with the sediment is the silt. That is the O horizon. That's where the most nutrient soil is. So we covered this when we done science last semester. That just was up. I put that in there for you to see it. I know y'all are familiar with it. Then you have the planting season. So this one's kind of opposite. When do usually crops planted here in North Carolina? Caleb, when? In the spring, right? So right now it's maybe still a little early because we had frost this morning. If y'all got up early enough, the car was covered in frost. So their planting season is October to February. So this is really our fall into our winter, right? So it just gives you a perspective of when it actually happens for the Egyptians. Take a pass. And then the last one, the harvest. This is just we talked about irrigation, how they dug canals to bring water in to get the crops away from the river. So when it does flood, it's not as bad. The harvest season is the next one. This is when they cut and gather. So I showed y'all this the other day, but this is the wheat. So wheat and barley was two of their main crops, not the only crops, but they would cut it. This is what that shows. They cut the wheat stalks. They would pile it. And then they would take the grain heads out of the wheat. That's what they would eat, that part of it. So, so that's the 3 seasons that they had. And this would just repeat itself over and over. So it's still a calendar year like ours, but the difference in geography, where that in the world, the temperature's different, and when the rainy seasons come in as well. So we've also looked at this. Why did the Nile flooding help? This is where the silt comes in. Yeah, so you have the rains, they bring in this silt that's good for nutrients, the fertile soil. You have, I talked about how this nutrient soil is brought in. I told y'all the Egyptians, they were for the flooding. It was predictable. They knew what time of the year it was going to happen, but they couldn't pinpoint it to how much rain they're going to get, or exactly it's going to rain these amount of days. So they wanted to flood it, but sometimes it was not as much as they needed. Sometimes it was too much. This is where we talked about a surplus. What is a surplus? All right, Jaden.
When you have too much food.
When you have too much. So when you have too much, they would store it. That is a place that they would dig in the ground, and they would store the grain, so they could have it for when it was a year that wasn't, they didn't have the flooding like they needed.
So kind of like silo.
So really, it's sort of like a silo, except they didn't have modern machinery to. If you're familiar with the silo, they have an auger that they actually take it from the ground and they fill it from the top down. This was dug in the ground, so they would fill it backwards, but it's same purpose. The silo is just to keep it dry, but they would actually fill it from the top, but it was dug in the ground because you didn't have a way to get it up there. But very similar to a silo, yes, just to keep it dry and preserved, keep pests from getting in it, mice, that kind of stuff. So keep your seed clean. Because of this, it made a vast empire. They started getting a surplus. They were able to keep it longer. It made population grow. Now we see trade is going to start happening. They use the Nile River. They would take their goods and trade with other people. So as I mentioned, this is the birth of this great civilization that's going to last for a long time. So which season come first? Raise your hand. Which was first, Caleb? The flooding season. What was the second one? Colton, what was second? Planting. Cameron, what was third? Harvesting. So that's our 3 seasons. All right, Sammy, what did the floods leave behind?
Oh, they left like blood, soil.
Soil. What kind of soil? Fertile. What's the term for it, Harmony? Say it. You
Just
say
say
it.
it.
Silt. Good. All right. Name one Egyptian crop. There's 2 I told you. Name one. Pedro, give me one. Barley. Ella. Wheat. Good job. Good job, Ella. All right. So, all right. Why was flooding important? Why was it important? Read why.
Because they control your supply of food.
Okay, help control the supply of food. Absolutely. Jaden.
It also controls kind of food and animals, with water, food, eggs and stuff.
Okay. Sammy. Transportation, Cameron. Okay. All right. So good answer. So there's our slide for that. So now we'll do the next thing here is all right. So this hopefully is a little bit of fun for y'all. So what you're going to do, I want you, you're going to get to move around here for a second. You're going to need your notebook. So I want you to get, unless I've got an odd number, I want you in groups of 3 to 4. Not huge groups. So, alright, I got one group here that's 4. Which one do you want? So hold on before I give you the options. So we're going to do a scenario. You've got to, the scenarios are, the flood was perfect. So we're going to be Egyptians right now, okay? So y'all 4, right? So you're an Egyptian family. So you're a family, however you want it. So this is what each family has to decide, depending on your scenario. How would the family survive if one of these happens? What resources may they trade? What would you trade to survive, depending on what's happening? How they adapt to their situations. Groups will present their ideas to the class. So all you got to do, I'm going to give you a moment to share. So, what scenario does Sammy want?
No. I had something to say.
What do you got to say?
Could we put it on like a slide? Or
Okay.
we just want it on our...
You can put it on the slide, but look, this is not. We're not going to spend a lot of time because we're running.
Let's do it on my
But
notebook.
you can do it on the slide because the whole part.
Okay.
I want y'all to share. So you can jot these down. This is based on what we've learned with Egypt. So which scenario do you want?
The first one.
So you want flooding was perfect.
Yes.
All right. So that's y'all. So go ahead and so hold on before you start working. Who's my next family? All right. So what scenario do you want?
2.
You want this one? Okay. So there's your scenario. All right. Who's my next family? All right. So who's the family? All right. Reed, Jaden, and Reedy. Y'all want to do flooding did not occur? Which one do you want? Flood was perfect. All right, guys. Hey, listen, guys. Stop for 1 second so I get my groups built. I need somebody to do flooding did not occur. Who wants that one? All right. Who's the family? Just y'all 2, or y'all 4? Who? Y'all 3. Okay.
No, Nicholas was
Flooding. Okay, 4. So flooding did not occur. So this family right here, flooding did not occur. All right. Who's the family with you, Madison? And Lucy? You want to work with them? So which one do y'all want? I got all 3, so now you can pick. Which one do you want? Okay, there's your scenario. So who else doesn't have one? All right, what do y'all want? Y'all can do it in a pair. Flood and destroy crops. Y'all, Austin, come here. You can work with them. What scenario does this family want? Flood did not occur. Okay, Tanner.
us 3.
All right. So what do y'all want? I got all of them covered
Flooding
now.
was perfect.
Flooding was perfect. So, okay, so everybody's got their scenario. So you know your scenario. We just broke down to families. So now, look, you can give me information. I'm not looking for like who's the dad, who's the mom. You can be siblings, whatever you want. But guys, listen, hold on. This is what your prompt is. How are you going to survive based on your scenario? What are you going to trade based on your scenario? How are you going to adapt? So go ahead. I'm going to give y'all you're going to have about 10 minutes to work on this. Yeah, I'm not doing that. All right, come on. Look, y'all do this. You can leave your chair here. Y'all can write it. You can type it.
Let's go.
How did you make it this All right, stay on task.
Yeah, they're not on task.
All right, that's little. Come on.
Talking to us.
All right, come on.
Huh?
Y'all two talking.
Alright.
Y'all two talking.
Or y'all put it however y'all want, y'all put it together. Don't wait it together. You're supposed to acknowledge it now. Alright, come on, forward.
I want to be the leader.
No,
No. Let's see you don't get
Who lost the reed?
What?
Looks like a. Alright, come on.
Wait, Fred.
Yeah, back to
Oh, yeah, Taylor's fun job.
Alright, I'm sorry, tell me what you're going to do. So the flooding's perfect. So how y'all,
Oh, because he has the middle thing.
I think mine's lagging out.
yes.
Taylor's funny, and I would like to eat on my
Alright, yes.
What are you laughing at?
Alright, so what was y'all's? Flooding was perfect.
What's that say?
It looks fine.
No, he didn't.
It looks fine.
Never seen it. He said it's okay. I said you're crazy because it's okay.
So what was that today,
You're so. Oh, what do you want me to do? Make a scenario.
We're gonna call it. We're broke.
They're weird. You're weird.
How did you adapt to the situation? Meaning, how did you survive based on what's happening? Okay.
Yeah, I'm the man.
Alright, come on, we got you.
This story is not really This is like when you make up a story for the car.
Hey, guys. Hey.
Dylan Owen and Luke Brown. Thank you.
Oh,
Okay,
that's
y'all.
I'm gonna say this like a makeup story for the car. How was it? I can't figure it. Listen, I can because I'm making a story for the car. In the water, What is happening? How do we adapt to this? You need to work. You need to work. Mr. Hawkins, he's touching me.
If we get more water into.
Oh, I got it.
More water.
I got it. No, it's like, y'all making more than one shot? Yeah.
Alright guys, I'm gonna give you a couple more minutes.
What he does? Something all perfect. Now let's go. Look at it again. Look at it again. We're frozen. No, look at it again.
Are y'all finished?
I can't see it.
Okay, I will say. Alright.
Mr. Atkins, are we supposed to do all three of the things at the bottom?
Yeah.
Would you only do one? No, we're working on it. Sure.
Alright. Okay, listen. Alright guys, listen. Most everybody's done. If you're still working quietly, so McKinley, you're
We're second.
alright, so this is what I want you to do. Come up here and you're going to present. So you invite your family.
Oh, there we go.
Now, hey, listen, quiet while this is going on. Alright, listen.
I
So,
can't see the board.
they,
Move up, Aiden.
what, scoot down just a little. What scenario was yours?
Ours was flooding destroyed crops.
Flood and destroyed crops are right here. Alright, so how did your family, guys, hey, my audience is quiet.
Sorry. Alright, so we were going to buy, like trading, okay? And we were going to trade projects like building, farming, and stuff like that. How are we going?
Alright,
Alright, okay. Then the water takes us down. Then someone else drinks it. I can't read this.
alright, come on.
Okay, you read it.
Guys, listen, I need y'all quiet.
Me? I got it. Yes. Okay, and then someone pulls us out of the water. We were screaming for help. Then we see that our crops were destroyed.
Alright, so, how did you survive? Basically? Trading.
Yeah.
What resources did you trade?
A
Work?
project.
Project work. Guys, how did you adapt to the situation afterwards?
Why did you do that one? I did. I wrote that down somewhere. Okay. Why did I agree to this?
So how did you adapt? So how did you make right with what happened?
We reformed.
Reform, okay.
Yeah.
Alright, so you replanted, okay. Alright, y'all can sit down. Thank you.
Thank you.
Alright,
Dad,
who's next? listen, I need y'all quiet, everybody. Hey, listen, it's too much talking. Alright, come on. With this family, the whole family, nobody cares in these families. Alright, hey, listen, the ones, guys, if you're not presenting, quiet. Y'all come on. So which one did y'all have? What was your scenario? Alright, so the flooding did not occur at all. So this should be what you've done. Flood did not occur.
How would their family survive? Either they all died or they
Okay, so this is your family. How did your, so the scenario is based, guys. Quiet. Hey, listen, no talking. So, how did your family survive? I said nobody perishes, y'all are all here, so y'all moved away. Alright, you moved away.
How did they adapt to
Alright, you skipped one.
what resources did they trade?
Get your guys back there to help.
Nothing, because there was a drought and we couldn't trade it.
Okay.
And how did they adapt to their situation? We had to leave or we were
Okay, so y'all left. So y'all just left. Okay. Alright, who's the next one?
They were running from the crop.
Alright, Caleb, your family, come on.
We're going next. I called it.
Alright, guys, quiet. So, what was your family's scenario? Alright, flood did not occur, so same scenario, no flood at all.
To survive, we preserve food and we will ask for food from other people and repay them when we can.
Okay. So how did you adapt?
Oh, no.
Oh, you, okay. Oh, you're still the first, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
So what resources made you trade, or did you trade? Okay, so you had food stockpiled, so how would you adapt to the situation?
we will prepare for the river is not flooding.
Okay, so they're gonna take preparation, good, they're gonna think ahead, they already had stockpile, so that means that they took preparation already, so good job. So they may have survived because they were prepared. Alright, Sammy's family?
Yeah!
Alright, y'all come
Go out,
on.
family.
Huh? That's karma.
I didn't do anything.
Alright, you almost lost a family member. And it wasn't in the flood, or what was your scenario?
Flooding was perfect.
Alright, flooding was perfect. Alright,
So, we kind of put them on a order. You'll read it how we got it. We would trade our goods for more goods.
alright. Guys, listen. I got one more thing we're gonna do with this. So we're gonna trade their goods for more goods, which is kind of counterproductive, but, alright. But I mean, if you got metals for food, maybe,
We would trade like crops and clothes.
okay.
I mean, no. What? I don't know.
Just say crops. Just say crops.
Clothing for crops,
And
right?
then we got more water and food. Yeah.
Alright, what was your scenario again? Flooding was perfect, okay.
Yeah.
Alright, so,
And then yeah.
things were just really good for y'all, right? Cause you had the,
Yeah, look how great that is.
so you had the floods, the crops done good, so they had a good scenario. Alright, so who's next? Alright, come on, Juliana and Nevaeh. You got a small family.
Ow!
What was your scenario? Guys, quiet. Okay, flood destroyed crops. Hey. Alright, guys, have a seat. Alright, how did you, so flood destroyed crops. Go ahead. So how will your family survive?
We moved away to a country that, like, a faraway land that is
just moved. So what did you do with your resources? Did you do a trade or anything?
We traded stuff that we could scavenge for
Okay.
for other.
So how did you, so adapt, you've really already told, how did you adapt?
We traded stuff.
And moved, right?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
It's a duck. And a pencil.
Alright. Aiden, y'all come on. Good job. Come on, twin.
They're weeding, not me.
So, we got two more families. Alright, come on. So which one did y'all have?
Oh my God.
The flooding was perfect. So, how did your family survive? Come on.
That's how you survive.
If flooding was perfect, we would have a perfect cup.
Okay, so things are good. You have a perfect flood. Alright, so you got plenty of food, right?
Yeah.
So do you trade anything? So some of these depends on the situation, remember? So do you trade, you may have traded with somebody that didn't have, so what did y'all do with your goods? You keep it all yourself or what? Okay, so did you have to adapt? How did you adapt your situation? Okay, alright, good. Alright, Rosa, Madison, Lucy, your family, what did y'all do? What was your scenario?
Oh my gosh.
Guys, quiet. What was your scenario again? No flooding. Listen. Alright, what did your family do to survive? Okay. What resources did you or did you not trade?
We will trade crops. Well, we don't have crops
Well, you could have previous crops, right? Like maybe
yeah,
store some.
old crops.
Okay.
Food.
Alright.
And some crappy rocks.
Alright. So how did you adapt? You've already really said it, so how would you adapt? Okay, alright. Good. We got one more. Y'all come on. Jade and Reed, get Reed. The last family. What was y'all's scenario?
Flood was perfect.
The flooding was perfect. So things were good, right? So, how did you survive, ladies?
We will survive on our food and water since our flooding is perfect.
Okay. And what did or did you not trade? Alright, traded trees for your resource, alright. So the last one is, how did you adapt or did you adapt? Like, you had a good scenario.
We had a lot of food to keep us in here, goods and water, so we could have food and stay for.
Okay, so you're gonna help other family, right? Okay, good. Alright, y'all have a seat. So who do you think, based on what you heard, survived the best?
Me.
Us. Me.
Me.
But I had to ask his mom.
Alright, so
I
So, all right, let me ask my question. What family give the best presentation that you think survives?
I gotta ask them to mine. Oh wait,
What it is?
Then, because they can have enough to give other families.
You talking about this family here, or Jaden, or Reed, or which one? Okay.
Interactive.
No, it's
Yeah.
not.
I have to ask them. Alright, so when we went to go plant more, I was gonna be riding the cow, she was gonna be riding the flamingo, and she was gonna be riding the horse. I didn't agree to this.
How do you ride a flamingo?
All right.
This was forcefully, I even said, I don't think they had flamingos back then.
Okay. I think flamingos were back there too.
I think
All
they
right.
had pterodactyls.
All right. Listen, one more thing, really quick. Let's see. All right. We're almost out of time, so I will in just a minute. So I'm not going to make us write this. I'm going to give you an opportunity to get a couple more tickets here. So, well, you got to give me a response.
Do we have to?
Yeah, if you want a ticket. So listen, guys, I need it quiet. No talking. What is one new idea you learned about Egyptian daily life today? So, give me something that you learned today. Kobe, what did you learn? Okay. Colton? Okay. Pedro? Alright, you learned the river goes from south to north. Caleb? Okay. Anybody else? So what we've learned today, Sammy?
Well, I forget this, but anyway, that flooding could be good.
Flooding can be good. What we've learned? What we've learned about Egypt pertaining to the Nile River? What you was asking? You got something you want to tell me? Because you asked. All right. So the Delta what?
He learned the word delta.
All right. The Delta's where the river ends. You learned the word Delta. Okay.
No, I was saying he did.
Yeah. So did you have one you want to share?
No.
McKinley, Olivia.
I was batting with queso.
All right.
Even though he had a very
Alright.
cataract. What is cataract? I don't really know.
All right. Cataracts. Juliana. Gosh, flooding can have a huge impact. So it can be good or it can be bad. Listen, hey, guys, break it down. Jaden. Flooding can be deadly. All right. Anybody else? Anybody else? I learned some of you, the families may not have survived.
Oh, like that one?
I'm not pointing names.
Oh,
All right, guys.
We definitely lost 5.
So look, guys, quiet. So, today we learned the seasons, we learned the importance of the Nile, learned about how it floods. So we'll finish up tomorrow. We're almost out of time. So